I think a lot of people don't understand the simple idea of staying consistent and showing up. We need to start looking at things from a perspective of healthy and the benefits rather than looking just good to impress others, which is what we're kind of going towards in the fitness industry right now. Motivation is something that doesn't really last a long time because there will be days where you don't feel motivated. There are some days that you don't feel like doing the things that you regularly do, maybe. Having that mission, having that purpose, that drive, that discipline, you will eventually fall in love with the process of doing it. People will make fun of you when you're not at your best, then they will praise you when you're at your best.
The biggest lesson I learned this year is seeing that I didn't have the time is complete bullshit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Complete
That's one of
bullshit.
the things that I learned too. So through the challenges that you challenge every day, you have to remember that nothing gets easier, you just get stronger. And you have that power to then go and change lives and go and make this world a better place.
How do you stay motivated when the results aren't showing?
Cool.
What's the most essential thing people get wrong about fitness?
Man, I'm glad you brought that up because another thing that I wanted to preach in terms of fitness and take my like Instagram and my YouTube towards that direction is consistency and just showing up, right? I think a lot of people don't understand the simple idea of staying consistent and showing up. If people really understood that term, everybody, most of the people would be more satisfied than not. Because what you see now is people want to get results quick. People can't wait to be jacked, but they don't understand that you don't just get to a level quick and also being jacked. Like personally, me, I've been working out since I was like 7. Like I did judo when I was 7, and that was the sport where it's a lot of physicality. So from then on, I've been in fitness, weightlifting, and judo. So when people look at me and they compliment me and stuff and tell me, "Yo, bro, like, what do I do? How do I get jacked like you?" I have to tell them simply that you just have to stay consistent, eat healthy, get good sleep, and really, really stick to the progress because you can't give up too quick. If you give up too quick, you're gonna miss out on most of the potential that you have. So consistency.
You mentioned that judo is what got you into the whole physical aspect of sports, but what actually sparked you to go into fitness?
Dude, it's funny because I almost didn't have a choice. My dad, he just pushed me and my brother always to train and work out and be strong. And me and my brother grew up around a lot of friends too that would play sports. So we were always involved in an environment where, people around us did sports. People around us were strong. So the environment really does its part to then bringing you up to then become that person of strength. So, and at the time, obviously, I was young and I didn't really understand the importance of it. Most of the times, I didn't even want to do it, but my dad would still force me. But then as I grew up, I realized the importance of health and being strong, especially as men. So, from then on, I developed the understanding of the importance of fitness, and that's why I wanted to then go and, help other people and bring that awareness to others that fitness is a great thing everybody should do. So that's how it started.
Do you think that was a good thing of your father to push you into it that early? And would you
Oh
recommend it
yeah,
to other fathers to do so, or do you think it's a bit too abrupt?
definitely, definitely. I think when it comes to sharing my experience, um, obviously I would want somebody to do it better than how my dad did it. I think a lot of the times he was a little bit too hard and didn't really explain much on why we were doing the things that we were doing because some of the things that would happen is, let's say I would lose a tournament in judo or I wouldn't do really well on the practice. He would then, like, the punishment would be him making me do more push-ups or more sit-ups, more squats, these type of things. And then like through that journey I got stronger obviously, but my understanding of, okay, is losing bad, is failure bad, I didn't really develop that understanding of losing and failure as something that's good, something that's positive, because it always came with a punishment as a kid. At least that's how I looked at it then. But to, go from your question, should fathers do that? I think 100%, because most of the times kids don't understand half of the things that the parents teach them or tell them. But then when they grow up, most of the cases they realize that it was for the best. So I think pushing a kid, and as well as, teaching them good lessons with it, can definitely make them a better person for the society and for themselves. 100%.
Do you think it then should be a decision of being well informed from both the dad and then the son or the daughter, I guess?
Yeah, for sure. The information definitely has to be there. The the consensus has to be there, obviously from a kid. But you see, I think if you give the kid too much freedom to the point where now you let the kid make a choice whether they want to work out or not, or whether they want to go to a gym or hang out with their friends, kids will make the decision to choose the easy way out. One, because as kids, we don't really have much responsibilities as we do when we grow up. So we don't really look forward to, the bigger picture of the world and what we need to do. So obviously, we're going to choose fun. We're going to choose instant gratification, and that may lead to then the kid being too soft, or just not even developing any want to work out. So yes, there has to be a balance between the parent sometimes forcing him to do the things that the kid may not want to do with a good explanation, and then at the same time giving them the opportunity to rest and have their way, so that way they have that balance between hard work and rest. Do you know what I mean?
Do you think there's an appropriate age to start the gym?
Okay. So if it comes to fitness, like weightlifting, I think appropriate age would be 14, 15 to already start weights. But before that, body weight exercises will do: push-ups, sit-ups, body weight squats, pull-ups, running. In sports, just get your kids involved in sports, I guess. And if you're a kid watching this, then ask your parent to involve you in some kind of activity, especially if you're in America, right? We all have, most of the cases, we all have access to sports and schools that provide sports, unlike in other countries. So take the opportunity and engage in those sports, because one, you never know how it's going to help you, and two, you just develop mental, physical, spiritual strength throughout the years. And you will be ahead of most of the people because of the opportunities that were given to you. And the only thing is, you just have to really use those opportunities. Does that make
What really
sense?
fascinates me about the US is how much, yeah, absolutely. It's how much they push sports and how much they promote, sports and being
Yeah,
active. Yet the overwhelming majority of the nation is just obese or overweight.
yeah,
What
yeah,
do you think of
dude.
that?
uh, I mean, I think you know pushing the agenda of working out or fitness or sports is one thing, but the proper way to diet is another. I think one of the things that America's lacking from other countries is food, and the education on food. Because I'll be honest, when I go to grocery shopping, I see most of the people getting a lot of junk food, man. I mean, I'll be honest, sometimes I do go to like pastry aisles too, and grab some of the snacks there too. But I think there's a balance to it. And you always have a choice between something healthier and something unhealthier. So obviously, pastry or snacks, to some extent, they are unhealthy compared to the single ingredient products. But then the question you have to ask yourself is, which one is healthier? And you have to have the self control to, um, you know, eat the proper amount of whatever that may be. So people need, I guess, better education on food and what it actually does. And I mean, not on a surface level on gaining weight or not gaining muscle and gaining more fat, but I mean, what it does to your genetics and what it does to your brain and what it does to your gut and these insights. So people have an understanding that food isn't just something you put in your mouth and you digest. Like that's your energy source. That's your living source. So when people have that understanding, they look at food not as something that is always enjoyable and pleasurable, but something that will just, you know, make them healthier and benefit in the long term. So, you know, as much as people want to say it's the fitness and it's the proper way to work out, yeah, that's one thing. But you have to think about the fact that whether you do sports or whether you're in fitness, for the most part, average time is 2 to 4 hours, right? I mean, depending on my experience. So, all the other time is you resting, whether that be mentally or physically, and then your diet, what you put in your mouth and what you drink. How do you supplement yourself from a long workout, from tearing your muscles and your body to then building it up? Because if that doesn't happen, then your body's really not functioning the right way. So food and diet is definitely essential when it comes to, you know, I would say reducing obesity and overweight, especially when it comes to kids, dude. Um, some of the research that we did, because sometimes we do it for our podcast and the presentations that we have in the college, is uh, how the industry profits so much from the junk food and how the stats show the amount of kids that are overweight. That's not healthy at all.
Do you have the stats with you right now or not? Do you remember them?
No. I mean, if you can search it up, that would be amazing. But as far as I remember, we will go to a point where, you know, every other person will be obese eventually if it continues to be this way. I think 75% of the US is obese or something like that. Um, or overweight. Not obese. No,
Oh,
obese would be
over,
too
yeah,
much. No,
overweight.
obese
Overweight.
75.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there has to be overweight, not obese. Yeah. Imagine 75%
Yeah.
obese would be
Yeah.
wild. Yeah. No, overweight.
It
Overweight,
would be
which is
crazy.
still
But what's
crazy.
funny is
Yeah.
one of the podcasters actually pointed out how back 20 years ago, the fat kid would be the one pointed out in a classroom
Yeah.
for, standing out. And now today, now the thin ones, the non-fat or overweight
Skinny.
kids are
Yeah.
now actually the odd ones out. Like, huh, exactly. Huh, you're healthy.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
weird.
Yeah.
That's not normal.
Right. Like the whole dynamic changed.
Yeah, basically, you believe that diet and what you put in your food is as important, or maybe even more important than what you do in the gym.
For sure, for sure. I think one of the things that I learned throughout my experience and doing some of the research is when it comes to prioritizing either food or fitness is your genetics. And I was always a skinny kid. I wasn't fat, overweight, nothing like that at all. If anything, I didn't have much muscle. So for me, food was more of a priority than necessarily working out to lose weight or something or anything like that. For me, it was the amount of food that I ate according to how much I worked out. The reason why I couldn't gain weight at some point was the food that I was eating wasn't appropriate for the type of training I was going through and the amount of times that I was training. So even so, I remember we would always play with our friends. We would always play sports. We would always be outside doing activities with our friends, and we wouldn't have that much time eating. So, I couldn't really develop the physique that I wanted because I didn't pay attention to the amount of food that I ate with protein, enough fats, carbs as well, and nutrients that I got from those food. But, you know, one, everybody's going to be different. Some will be skinny, some will be fat, some will be overweight, whatever that may be. So I was just making a point that I think it's important that when it comes to prioritizing one over the other, you have to have an understanding of what you need and what your body needs, and then according to that, you know, push that side of either fitness or diet on that aspect. But still, to narrow it down, I really think diet is still a little bit more important in my eyes as I've been learning more about food and the importance of food over working out. Because, I mean, simply, even if you just go for a long walk, that's still an exercise. But whether you go for a long walk or a long exercise, stopping by McDonald's, Burger King, and all those places won't do you any favor, even though you just did all that work. So, I mean, at the end of the day, diet still plays a bigger role in there.
Mm. I can completely relate with this because I've always been a skinny kid. I sort of still am. I'm 73 kilos. Oh no,
And you
you
look
won't
pretty
understand
good for the
anything to
weight.
that. So I'm 73 kilos and 6'3". And I worked out. I'm okay now. I'm getting somewhere. I've
That's good.
started the gym again, but last year I used to go to the gym pretty rigorously, but not as often as I should. And same for my diet. Sometimes I wouldn't really prioritize the calorie intakes and the protein intake required to gain any sustainable muscle mass. I actually compared my back today with my pull day to last year, and there's still some
Mhm.
significant improvements. But if I did have that good quality and meeting the target diets all along last year, I would have had sustainably way more improvements to my physique. So I completely
Sure.
agree. Diet should be the number one priority.
Yeah, 100%.
What's your core philosophy that drives your approach in the gym?
Right. That's a very good question. And I'm glad you asked that because I feel like one of the main things that I want to make an impact in the fitness industry is people having one, a good understanding of why they work out in the first place. And I think we need to start looking at things from a perspective of healthy and the benefits of our body and our mental health rather than looking just good to impress others, which is what we're kind of going towards in the fitness industry right now. And not just that, but money and fame is something that's overtaking in the fitness industry. Right now, kids that are very young are just posting on social media, pretending to be young, pretending to be on steroids when they're not, or the other way around, pretending to be natural when they're on steroids, just so they get clout, so they get famous, they get, I would say, hooked onto those big brands or big pages like Gymshark, Young LA, and all those guys. And so people also sponsor them, so they make money. And their message doesn't stand out to people. You should work out to look healthy. You should work out to be healthy. You should work out so you develop yourself the best possible way you can. And now it's just to look good and impress others. Like no. First of all, no matter how good you look, there's always going to be somebody that's going to hate on you. There's always going to be somebody that's going to have to say something about you. So one, you can never impress enough people. And to be honest, the funny thing is, all these people that I've paid attention to, most of them I've come across, they have body dysmorphia. Like I have friends of my own too, even when I walk in the gym. Like I'm telling you, these guys look good. They're shredded, lean, big, and they still are complaining about how they look. They always complain about, oh, dude, like, no, I don't look that good. Like, nah, don't compliment. Like when I would give them a compliment, it's like they wouldn't take it. They would deflect the compliment. So the issue isn't going to the gym to be healthy, which is the right reason, if you ask me. Then now I'm going to the gym just to impress others. And I would say put a value to myself as if the value comes from just how you look. So it's like, looking good and being jacked is an amazing thing. Being aesthetic is good. and you will get many compliments, and you will get you know, positive feedback from people as well as your own self. But I think when it comes to the core reason why I tell somebody to work out, I have to start with health benefits and just being clear, like clear in your head, and being healthy in general. I think that's the number one thing people need to take away from fitness and working out in general. And now it's just to look good and impress others. Like, no, first of all, no matter how good you look, there's always going to be somebody that's going to hate on you. There's always going to be somebody that's going to have to say something about you. So, one, you can never impress enough people.
So you believe people are sort of into the gym and fitness space for the wrong reasons, which are basically just to look good and aesthetic over health and basically impressing others and making money off it. But you're not saying that it's a bad thing. It's just that it shouldn't be the driver or your motivation in the gym
Right,
over health and well-being.
right. Yeah. You know, things change as the time goes on, and my answer varies based on what I've been observing as of today and what I've been seeing around me. Because if you had to ask me that question, I would probably give you a different answer. But I think as the world changes and with social media, we need to bring back that healthy aspect of things. Like back then, I feel like it was more about health benefits. It was about just being healthy and active and not really caring too much what other people thought. Neither was there anything like coming from people saying, if you don't weigh this specific amount and if you don't bench this much, you're not strong or you're not qualified and these type of things. Now it's a bunch of negativity, obviously some positivity that comes with that. But, you know, like negative energy is the type of thing where it's very hard to deflect when it comes to the audience that you've been growing for a long time. And especially when you're trying to, impress those guys. That's why you see a lot of people unhappy about how they look, because there's going to be somebody in the comments that's unhappy, and he's going to tell you, or she is going to tell you, you're not good enough or you don't look good. And that comment, whether you want it or not, affects you. And then slowly accumulation of all those comments will then make people unsatisfied, not because of how they look, but because of how they think they look, which is a big difference. And I think we just need to push the agenda of working out for the health benefits and for healthy reasons, to where it was what it's really for, rather than what people have already made it to be. Does that make sense? What do you think?
Mm.
What have you been
Yeah,
seeing
it's a
in
shame.
UK,
Yeah,
maybe?
absolutely. No, I completely agree. Honestly, it's the same all over the place. Thanks to social media, everything has been very globalized. So it's sort of the same situation wherever you go. But I do completely agree with you. And I think that, influencers really push young men to expose themselves on social media, which isn't inherently a bad thing. I mean, when it comes down to documenting your journey and sharing your progress with the world, I think it can be a very healthy thing. But as you said, people are in it for the wrong reasons. They're in it for fame, for clouts. And then those influencers then don't teach them how to detach themselves from the negativity they can get, which is obviously gonna be there because I mean it's social media, right? I'm sure you get
Exactly.
it. I get it on the podcast. There's always gonna be haters wherever you go, crabs. So, and I learned that from the Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson, which is a classic. You just really gotta learn to just sometimes just say fuck it and learn to detach your well-being and your mental state from the opinion of others, because if you let your emotions get changed by the simple fact of some hater online, you're going to be miserable, especially
For
if you
sure.
document and expose yourself on social media. So if for anyone that wants to do that, there's going to be haters 100%, and you go
Yeah,
take it on
100%.
upon you to, one, maybe not even answer back, or two, just just deflect it. But yes, health has to be the number one priority of why you're in the game.
For sure. I agree.
Okay, Sadula, let's go deeper into your own workouts. So how do you structure, okay, let me reformulate that. How do you structure your gym sessions for hypertrophy, or both of them? Like, actually, let's do both. How do you structure your workouts to build both strength and hypertrophy?
Okay. So right now I am getting prepared for a half marathon that I'm doing with Josh actually. It's in November 13th. It's coming up right now.
Congrats.
So my preparation for that has been slightly different because I've been running more, doing more cardio, doing more hypertrophy so that way I don't stay stiff or gain too much muscle to the point where then I will lose the ability to run a lot. So my workouts has been changed a little. Plus, picking up injuries every now and then changes the way I work out and the amount of weights I am able to lift. But hypertrophy, when it comes to
Let's do
hypertrophy,
this then, Sadula. Do the contrast of both. Tell
right?
us how your workouts were before you were training for this marathon, and then how it is now.
Okay. So, I would say when it comes to gaining muscle and trying to, gain weight and get bigger, so doing rep range of 8 to 10 is very good. Doing maybe 3 sets of each workout, not doing too many repetitions because then what happens is you're actually burning some of the muscle too. And I forgot the name of it, but my friend told me this the other day. Your body releases it's something an acid into your muscles um, because of doing too much hypertrophy.
Anaphylactic acid.
What is it?
Anaphylactic acid.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that. So yeah, and those are some of the key points that people need to understand and pay attention to when it comes to like setting a goal for themselves, and you know paying attention to how your journey is, and recording all those workouts that you do helps a lot because like I said, everybody's body's so different, and everybody will gain muscle and or weight in a different period of time. So recording how many workouts you do, how many sets, how many repetitions, how often, as well as your diet, and then based on your results and how fast you want to grow, changing those up will then get you the results that you want. But the basic rule of thumb of gaining muscle is that like higher weight and lower rep range, because what that does is you're not really burning as much muscle, and you're gaining more muscle because you're putting heavier load on your muscle, which results in more strain on the muscle. Therefore, the breaking down of the muscle happens, and then through the diet, through good rest, and then you're able to build that up. So supplementation obviously does its own part too, but if we just stick to the workout aspect of it, that would be to gain more muscle, is cut down rep range and increase more weight. And hypertrophy, I would say less weight, more reps, or just more reps on the specific weight that you choose for yourself. That would be my recommendation for somebody that has two different goals in fitness. But, you know, I'm not an expert. I'm not going to try to tell you the scientific things of it because I don't know that much yet. So I have to be very careful with how I give advice because if somebody applies my methods, let's say, and it wasn't right, then it's not honest from my end. So I would really suggest to do the research yourself after listening to this podcast, and also listen to almost although all the influencers that give different advice, and don't just take one and stick to it with like almost like blindfolds on, but pay attention to the results, record the results, and then change it up based on how it benefits your body and in your structure, because everybody's gonna have like different um advice and different approach to how to gain more muscle or how to be more athletic. But those are I would say the rules of how each one should be.
Hmm. I think, yeah, as you said, I think the most important thing you can do is, as you said, experiment on yourself.
Sure.
Do the research, grab 4 to 5 informations, try and cross analyze them, and then apply them differently, and then see what works best for you.
Yep.
What's your current split then, Sadula?
Right now I'm doing push pull legs. So push would be chest, shoulders, triceps, and I do rear delts on those days too. And abs, I do abs every day. Then on Tuesday would be pull day, which is
Well, why do you do abs every day?
for me, I want to stay lean as well as, be athletic. And when it comes to being athletic and being able to have muscle endurance, doing abs every day can help you to, you know, have that higher, I would say, capacity to even run, higher capacity to, uh, you know, be more athletic. But when it comes to muscle growth, that I recently learned, shout out to Lance, who was on our podcast. He's a bodybuilder, so he said doing abs twice or 3 times a week is actually more essential when it comes to growing the muscle. So if you want to grow the muscle purely because to look bigger, then doing 2 to 3 times a week for abs is the best, most optimal for muscle growth because you're able to
And then you would apply that to any other
recover.
muscle.
Of course, yeah, you would apply that to every other muscle. But then you see another research also that I've heard of shows when it comes to abs is it's the fastest muscle to recover. And you don't really need a lot of rest for your abs because you don't really do a lot of workouts just for abs. I mean, I do know some people that spend hours just doing abs, or some people on just doing a shoulder and ab day, like full on 2 hours. But then for me, I do 5 to 10 minutes every day abs. And you have to also keep in mind that other exercises that you do, especially countless, you're using your core. When you run, you use your core. So your abs are still working. So I do see 100% why the advice of doing abs 2 to 3 times a week is optimal because it really is. But for me, every day works. That's something that I also developed doing sports throughout my life, and you know, um, having the ability to do abs every day and recover. Because you see, the structure of your body, it's like if you recently started working out and you want to do the things that somebody does for years, it's going to be very hard for your body because your muscles are not used to that much pressure. But somebody that's an athlete and has been doing things like running and full body workouts, then obviously their capability of doing abs every day is much higher than yours. So you have to, like I said, really listen to your body, drop the ego, really understand what you need and what you're capable of, and slowly progress because there's no rush in this. You doing something quick in a month will then, I would say, fatigue you later on. So better to go slow and progress surely than not. So that would be my advice.
It's very fascinating how abs require less time to recover. I wonder if it's because of the range and the stretch of the muscle is very minimal compared to like the bicep or the hamstrings. I don't know if that plays a role in it.
I think it's the food. Since the food goes into your stomach, that blood flow, that nutrients, like straight from there, like are most likely to like feed that muscle. And I don't know. Since you also use your core with every exercise, it's always tight, it's always working, there's always tension there. So it's always burning the the fats and stuff in there. So I don't know. Something to think about.
It's used to the pressure,
Yeah, exactly.
to the stress.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Let's continue on your split then, Sadula.
Right. So yeah, like I said, push would be chest, triceps, shoulders, anything that's involving pushing motion. and then I do rear delt just because when I do shoulders, I don't want to do traps the same day. And then on the next day, which is Tuesday, I do back and biceps with traps. And then Wednesday I do full on leg day, and my split then just goes on like that throughout the week. And on Sunday I have a rest day. Rest days are essential. It's very important. You can choose a rest day yourself. It doesn't have to be on Sunday. I just think it's the best day to rest and to then start the week off strong again. So there's a bunch of splits that I've tried. I've tried Arnold. I've tried push pull legs. Obviously, I've done one where um, it's just chest,
Oh, you tried the
shoulders.
bro split.
Yeah, exactly. Um, like all the gym bro splits that
Yeah.
you could do. Um, and I think they're all good. If I'm honest, there's not one that I was unsatisfied with. I think you can adapt to all of them if you get yourself used to them. However, there's optimal growth in the split, and there's one where it works, but it's just not the best. So when that is the case, you have to one put down like write down your goal, what do you want, and then stick to what works the best, and as well as experimenting with other splits and trying new things, um, and not just get complacent on one thing. But switching up the workouts works really well too. If you're just on one split and you do that for years, then your body gets used to just one structure of workouts, and it can get boring. And at the same time, your muscles are not really developing because they're so used to the same thing. So you want to give your muscles like shock, kind of like um, catch them by surprise type of thing to switch up the split, so that way it adapts to a new method, and now it's resisting against a new method of training. So switching up your splits maybe every 6 months or 3 months is also a good idea. Just experiment, see how it works with your body. You might need longer to switch up your split, but the idea is definitely try different things and get your body to get used to different things.
Just to clarify, so you're saying that you do basically push Monday,
Huh?
pull Tuesday, legs
Yeah,
Wednesday,
and
and
then
then
repeat.
again push Thursday, pull
So Thursday push,
Friday, and then legs Saturday,
Friday
and then
pull,
rest on Sunday, and then you start over.
Saturday legs, and then Sunday rest.
Okay. Interesting question. If you could only pick 10 exercises for life, what would they be?
10. I'm glad you told me 10 and not 3 because the other day me and my friend were talking about picking just 3 exercises, and it was one of the most difficult things to do. So let's go 10.
Hardest decisions of your life.
Yeah, right. So 10 exercises. One, I would start with compound exercises. So I would start with bench, deadlift, and squats. That would be the first 3. Yeah, just because you can train with those with hypertrophy as well as weight training and get really really strong. So then I would pick
Okay, and
body weight.
inclined bench press or traditional bench press?
Uh I would say both, but um they're just two different
Ah.
for two different purposes. One's for the upper chest, one for the middle.
I mean,
But
if you want
flat,
to add both
flat.
of them,
Right. I would add both, but yeah, flat,
flat. Okay,
flat. Yeah,
flat.
if I had to choose
Okay, so
just one,
flats, squats, and deadlifts.
right, then I would what is that? 4? That's 4, right? Yeah, that's 4. Then I
That's
would
three.
go why? Bench, deadlift, squats, because and then incline. So incline and flat. So that would be 4,
Oh.
right?
Oh, okay, so you
Yeah.
put both. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna put
Yeah.
both. And then I would do
Yeah.
pull-ups for sure. Pull-ups, dips with like
Okay.
weights, because that's something that you can do body weight, and it's also something you can do with weights. So that would put me to 6. Running would obviously be an
Yeah,
exercise, right? I
so
mean, or is
couple.
it just like lifting
No, keep it straight. Keep it
straight
yeah,
to
straight
just
gym
okay,
lifting.
gym lifting. Okay. Push-ups, push-ups for sure. Um, I would go with shoulder press, shoulder press, or like a military press with a barbell. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I have two more, right?
What are we at, like 8?
Yeah, we're at 8.
Yeah.
Let me think.
You're lacking a bit
Uh,
of legs there. You only
there
have
has to
the
be
squats
weighted,
and sort of deadlift too.
weighted crunches, weighted crunches, and oh, yes, and hack squats, hack squats. Just so we can pay a little bit more attention to legs, you know. Yes. Flat bench, incline bench, squats, deadlifts, dips, pull-ups, weighted crunches, hack squats. I forgot it myself.
Push ups.
Push-ups and pull-ups, right? Or did I say pull-ups already?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No, that's good.
So that would be
Perfect.
my 10.
Perfect. So do those top 10 exercises. I love it. Do you have any
Yes, sir.
unconventional training methods you find effective?
Um, what would be considered like unconventional um like training methods?
Something you don't really see often. Something that's not talked about much or not done much, or you haven't seen many people do, but you do it and you find it effective.
Dude,
You
it's
cannot
gotta
have any.
be yeah, it's gotta be pull-ups. Um, it's gotta be pull-ups, push-ups. Uh, I don't really see a lot of deadlifts either. I mean, not the gym that I go to at least, but I think deadlift is something that a lot of people do. The only thing is, I will put my insight on it. I think people do deadlifts wrong. Just because when it comes to deadlifts, it's I would say one of the most
Can you dive into
dangerous.
that?
Yeah, for sure. I think deadlift is one of the most dangerous exercises that I've come across personally. Most of the injuries that I've seen people get are from compound lifts, but specifically from deadlifts. Because what people want to do is when it comes to deadlift, they want to PR a one rep max, and the form is bad because when it comes to deadlifts, the amount of preciseness you need in the form is insane. Because when it comes to deadlift, it's probably one of the compound movement when it comes to like a powerlifting uh, exercise that you need to use your whole body. Like I mean everything, and that's why if your hamstrings are strong and you don't pay attention to how you arch the back or you hinge the back, then it can be a problem because now you're using more of your hamstrings and your form is bad, but you're still able to lift the weight, just like how you would do it with every weight. However, deadlifts you can load up a lot of weight, and if your form is bad, you can mess up your lower back, and lower back pain and injury is just one of the worst things that somebody can go through. I mean, I personally have had lower back issues as well as back problems in general. And anything that has to do with your spine, it's terrible because what happens is those cartilage that's like in between the spine, if that pops out, like there's really nothing you can do anymore. Like when it's out, you can't just put it back in there. So you're gonna have that
It's
pain,
basically the cushioning
and
of your spine.
you know, right, exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. And then you can later on, God forbid,
Yeah, I saw cases
develop
where basically
arthritis and
you
all
can
those
damage
kind
the
of things.
cushioning, and you can basically get nerves. You can get nerves compressed between those
Right.
plates
Yeah.
and get
There you go. Yeah.
super painful lower back pains. It's dangerous,
Exactly.
and you can mess
So,
up so many, and you can get concussions too if you do. As you said, one rep max is pretty dangerous. You just gotta be
dude,
careful on what you're
yeah,
doing.
very, very, and like I said, obviously with every compound lifts, squats, bench, and deadlift, you can injure yourself on all of them. But the reason why I picked out deadlifts is because it's just your whole body, And when it comes to anything with back and spine, that is the reason why you walk is because of your spine. And if you have a problem with your spine or your back in general, there's a lot of things that you cannot do anymore because of one specific thing that you did wrong. And it's loading up a lot of weight with round back, not doing it properly, and just ego lifting. So uh, be very careful on deadlifts. Perfect your form, and I mean perfect your form to a T before you go up the weight. And if you do go up weight with every exercises, it's better to go up the weight by 2.5 pounds and 5 pounds, which still makes a difference. You would be surprised. Then going up by 10 or 15 just so you can achieve your goal faster. But then the cost of achieving that goal is permanent damage, which is never worth it. Because as you age, things don't get easier, it just gets harder. And your muscles don't get the recovery of your muscle isn't any better or your joints are not getting any healthier type of thing. So it's very, very essential that when you're young, you do take care of your vessel because it's the only one vessel that you get throughout your one life. So
That makes sense. So when it came to unconventional training methods, so they're not very unconventional on your side. They're just not used much. It's basically the pull-ups and the push-ups, right?
I would say mostly pull-ups, push-ups. Yeah, most of the body weight exercises that people don't do. And abs. People actually skip abs. People skip abs. You'd be surprised. People don't do abs.
That is true. That is true. Tell me, Sadula, are you a big believer in shorter sessions or longer sessions of working out?
Whew. They're both good in its own ways. It depends on a person, what their goal is, what they're trying to achieve, how much time they have in the gym. But I think it's about the exercise and the workout being effective than something that's just long and stretching out the time. Because one of the things that I paid attention to is when I was young, I had more time to kill type of thing. I had more time in the gym, didn't really care about other things outside the gym as much. So I would spend a lot of time in the gym. A lot of the times I wasn't really being present there doing the exercises, which then resulted into um, the the results that I got from the gym. So I would say look at your time, see how much time you can devote to gym, but I would say don't take longer than 2 hours. It's really not necessary at all. Longer than 2 hours is just stretching it, in my opinion. If you're in a sport, that's a whole different story because you don't know how long the practice is going to go on. But when it comes to purely in the gym, fitness lifting, no longer than 2 hours. And dude, I'm telling you, 1 hour, 45 to 1 hour could actually be a very good time for those that don't have much time or don't really want to start giving too much time in the gym. You will still get good results, very good results, as long as throughout that 1 hour to 45 minutes you're being, I would say, productive and hard working. Because I've tried it all. I've tried working out for 45 minutes. I've tried
How
working out
many
for
how
one
many
hour. Sorry about that, Jared. Go ahead.
how many exercises would you fit in 45 minutes or an hour?
45 to 1 hour. I would fit I would say 5 to 6 of 3 sets each exercises in there. And then for 2 hours,
That's
eight should
decent.
be good.
Yeah.
Eight
And
should
if
be
you
good.
No, that's good. And if you only had 20 minutes to work out, what exercises would you what workout would you do for each? So let's start with push if you only had 20 minutes.
20. You're really pushing it, huh? 20 minutes. That's like going in the gym and then leaving. Oh,
We've got
interesting.
some busy people out there.
Yeah, yeah. And especially for beginners, right?
It basically goes down to what will you prioritize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
yeah, something that could fit most.
I think when it comes to having 20 minutes, it depends obviously what split you're doing. Like, so if you have a push day and you're trying to fit the 20 minutes into the push day, that would be different exercises. But do you want me to go through like it's split maybe, or do you want me to kind of do, let's say,
Yeah,
20 minutes
each.
for, okay, okay. So what I would do is when I would go in for a push day, which is chest, shoulders, triceps, what I would do in those 20 minutes is I would start obviously warm up. So I would warm up for 5 minutes, do stretching, um, and then a warm up set on either a dumbbell press or a barbell press, which is a compound lift and a heavy lift to really do that strength training. And then after I would do the dumbbell press and a barbell press, um, right after I would finish the set on either bench or dumbbell press on a flat bench, then I would jump straight to either lateral shoulder raises with dumbbells or tricep extensions or something. So what I would essentially do with the 20 minutes, I would go back and forth with exercises, trying to fit two exercise into one working set. So it would be chest, shoulders, then it would be chest, triceps, and then it would be another chest exercise with another shoulder workout. So shoulder press, tricep extensions, flat bench press, incline, dips, um, really trying to tie everything in there. So that way I do everything in 20 minutes. And then it would be for a pull day, which is back and biceps. I would go in, warm up, do pull ups, start with pull ups, maybe do some weighted pull ups as well. And when you do pull ups, your biceps are also working. So you're going to feel some strain on your biceps. What you could do is on that pull up set, you can switch then to chin ups, which is concentrating just straight on biceps. That would be a very good set to do. Then you would go and jump into maybe dumbbell curls or preacher curls, and then substituting with doing some rows, barbell rows, and then you would finish it off with either cable rows, you would finish it off with dumbbell single hand rows, um, or any machine really for the back exercise. But
Are we still
the
on the
main
20
ones
minute time
that,
frame?
yeah, exactly. But you wouldn't want to go back and forth with the workouts of 3 sets each, and keeping it from the range of 8 to 10 reps or 10 to 12 reps, depending on your goal. But the idea is don't keep it any
So how
longer
many
than,
exercises is that in 20 minutes?
dude. Probably like you probably can't even do more than four, really. Like, I mean, you have to be really, really quick to do four. Like, I mean, four exercises of clean sets. But I would say it's better to go in the gym when you have 20 minutes to do two workouts of really quality sets than four and kind of half-assing it just so you can get done more than two.
And rush it.
Quality over quantity for sure when it comes to those sets. And for leg day, I would start with squats for sure. Squats take long in terms of break, loading up the plates. But yeah, I would start with squats and straight from squats, go to calf raises, switch back and forth maybe if I had to do that. Then I would go to hack squats plus leg press. Um, and then if I have more time and if you're being super fast, like let's say you can also do some leg extensions and hip abductors and adductors. So the reason why I'm picking like certain exercises because I'm picking like the essential exercises for, I would say, minimal time to maximal gains, which is a compound lift. You have to start with a compound lift if you don't really have much time and you're also trying to achieve the results um, that you want. So that's just some of the exercises that I would suggest somebody if they had 20 minutes. And then obviously if the longer you have, the more you can devote to quality sets of those exercises and add a little bit of more sets onto each one. So That would be my suggestion.
Amazing, man, amazing. Can you remind us how long you've been in the gym then, like religiously?
Okay. Yeah, so fitness, lifting weights, I would say it's been 3 years. So it was 3 years ago that I stopped doing judo as a sport and stopped doing it professionally. So 3 years it's been me just straight up lifting in the gym, and obviously still trying to be more athletic, not just bodybuilding, but doing it for aesthetics and health
Yeah.
reasons. So it's a long process,
Mm.
bro.
Yeah, because you've got an insane physique, man. I've got to
Thank you,
congratulate
thank
you
you.
on that. It's great. Obviously, as you said, for a great physique, nutrition is very important. What does your nutrition look like?
So my diet. Okay, so I'm gonna start off being honest because I feel like with my body type and the body structure that I developed, and I think a lot of it comes from genetics too, but then most of it also comes from the fact that, like I said, I've been an athlete for a long time. And when your body as a kid develops straight from being an athlete and running around as a kid and not really letting your body rest or be in a sitting position for a long time, your your body structure changes into having like fast metabolism, I think, and also just being able to burn calories and fats more. So I'm not very strict with my diet in terms of how much I eat and counting my calories and macros. However, I also don't eat junk food either. I eat healthy food, single ingredients like ground beef, chicken. If I do eat bread, I eat organic bread. Or I go to a store where they literally bake bread and just bring it out on the shelf, and those are the kind of breads that I grab. Nothing with nothing like white bread or anything. Those are terrible. Nothing like cereal or oatmeal in terms of carbs, because I get my carbs from the vegetables as well. So I think, and fruits. So if I can get my carbs from fruits and vegetables, I think that's enough carbs for me personally, because I mostly eat protein and fats, healthy fats. So I've I've been seeing good results in terms of mental and physical aspect of it. So my diet is just simple things: eggs, ground beef, sometimes potatoes, not so much. Mostly tomatoes, just greens like cucumbers, bell peppers. You probably seen my stories. Um, avocado. Oh, I love avocado. Avocado's amazing. Chicken, chicken thighs, chicken breasts. Um, what else? Shrimp,
By the way, is
pasta.
it possible you were vegan or vegetarian at some
Yeah,
point?
I was. I'm going to do that one more
Can
time.
you dive into that for
Yeah,
us, please?
I'm actually going to do that again. Starting from November 15th all the way to Christmas. So that would be like a 40-day fast from fish, um, oils even. But I will still find a way to cook stuff with oil, because dude, eating like having no oil at all in cooking is just crazy. That would be very difficult. And no meats and no eggs and no dairy.
So wait, are you going back to
Pretty much
vegan or
vegan.
vegetarian?
Vegan. I'm gonna be going back to vegan for
Vegan.
that 40
Okay.
days.
Why?
So I go to church, and it's like during the the time leading up to Christmas. It's a fast that we do as Christians. So not every church does that. Not every denomination of Christianity does that, but some of them do. And besides the aspect of it just being a religious reason, I think it's good to get your body get used to the things that you're not used to. Also, to hold yourself back from eating the things that you would want to eat. And also, it's a good time to kind of clear out your body from the heavy meals or heavy things, and just kind of let your body rest a little bit, especially when it comes to training every day and prioritizing eating meat and fats a lot. and to cut that out for those 40 days even, or let's say a week for some of them that want to do that, I think it's a good idea to clear out your body, and it's a healthy thing to do.
So it's an actual fast from animal products. It's not necessarily a complete fast. Walk me through the fast. How does the fast work?
So yeah. So I mean, there's no specific way of like fasting, I would say, as long as you eat moderately. And because you see, when it comes to taking out all the animal-based food and you're left with just vegan, you can also eat so much of those food that you're still gonna feel full, and you're gonna be like bloated and stuff because you can go to that limit. Because I guess the mentality can be, since I can't eat meat or anything, I'm just gonna go crazy on these vegetables and fruits and stuff. But you see, the whole purpose of that fasting itself is also the temptation from holding back from the foods that you would want to eat, or go to the limit where you just feel like throwing up, or you just feel like you can't do any type of activity and you just want to sleep. Gluttony, yeah, there you go. And that's one of the reasons that we do the fast for. And I would say, it gives you more time to do the other things. When I did the vegan fast, I had less time to think about what I was going to eat, because the meals that I was going to eat would be very quick. I would just get some vegetables, get some fruits, wash them, eat them, toast bread, one, two, or something like that, uh, with peanut butter and stuff on it. Like nothing too crazy. And it was just simpler to make. It didn't really take much time. It didn't take much energy, and it would give me a lot of more time to do other stuff. So it also helps me to catch up on the things that I otherwise wouldn't be devoting the time to when cooking. So there's so many benefits. It's like when you search for the benefits of something, you always find so many good things that you can do during that period. And um, definitely made my faith with God so much stronger too when I was doing the Easter fast, because Easter for Georges is slightly different. It's supposed to be the celebration of the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So during those 40-day fast, which in the Bible was the time when he went through the fasting, is the time we fast. So it's the respect of also going through it ourselves, and having that I would say reason behind my head all the time, that I'm doing this for a purpose, I'm doing this for a reason, and I am strong enough to hold myself back from eating the foods that I want to eat. When I would see everybody else around me eating those foods, especially when it comes to working out and trying to get gains, it's difficult, but it's definitely doable, and makes you mentally and physically so much stronger and capable of different, like adjusting yourself to different diets all the time.
Mm. So it's more of a challenge than
Right.
anything.
I think it's a very big challenge.
Okay. So because I thought you had something against animal
Oh no.
products or meat. Do you have
No,
anything
I
against them
love
or
them.
no? I'm just curious. Okay. 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 And does that fast impact your progress in the gym at all? Or not at all?
Slightly, yeah, of course, sometimes you're not
So
energized.
you can see a notable difference.
Oh, for sure. If I had to like put up a picture right now of me when I'm on a meat diet, then when I'm on a vegan diet, it's just a huge difference, bro. I was so much leaner. Um, dude, I'll be honest, I still did look good. I didn't really lose a lot of muscle. I just lost straight up fat. Like I was just lean, super lean. Um, and I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be harder than it was, but I think the strength that came from the belief, right? The Holy Spirit is it didn't I didn't really lose gains, nor did I lose energy, nor was I complaining about it. I wouldn't tell people, oh, like, yo, I'm fasting and I can't do this and that, or I that I would change my mood with people or my energy with people, how I interacted with them, considering that I didn't have the nerves to deal with some people. Like it wasn't even like that at all. I did not put that struggle of my own into somebody else's, which is something that happens for the most part. Some people take pride in their own acts of whether that be a religious fasting or something, and they're like, oh, I do this and that, therefore I'm a better person, I'm more a faithful person, and that type of stuff. Like that kills the whole purpose of what you're doing that for. It's supposed to be in a way that's just like, yeah, I'm doing it, and it doesn't have much to do with what other people do. You do it because you want to do it, and nobody's necessarily like forcing you to do it. So it's out of your will, and if it's out of your will, then you shouldn't have to push it to anybody else to say that you're a better person or anything like that. And yeah, like I said, I was very energized, very strong. I was still able to during those periods of time, I actually did some PRs on the bench too, because when you take your mind off food and just not victimize yourself that, oh, I can't have this, therefore now I'm not going to be able to achieve the goals, you already kept yourself at a certain level that you can't surpass because of your beliefs. But if you take the food out of the equation as if that's not what gets you the results, you are going to be so surprised on how many things you can do during the fast that you probably wouldn't do when you're on a meat diet. So it's a lot of mindset and a perspective shift, whether you eat good, whether you eat animal foods or not. It's very
Would you
interesting
encourage the average Joe to fast like this once a year?
for sure. I would definitely suggest somebody to start slow. I would suggest somebody who is a big uh, meat eater, so to speak, somebody that is really paying attention to the amount of protein and fats they are intaking. I would suggest them to take out one of the days during the week, maybe middle of the week, where they don't eat meat at all, like no meats. You can eat eggs, you can eat dairy, no meat, and then maybe slowly do
Okay.
2, 3 times a week if you feel like it. Then you can also do, let's say, dairy fast, so like no dairy at all. Sometimes do no eggs. Sometimes do everything but no fish. Do everything but no sweets, like let's say honey or peanut butter, all those like very natural fat sweets. So fasting can be in so many ways that it just comes down to how do you want to do it yourself? How do you want to challenge yourself? And what are the things that you need to hold yourself back from? Fasting, whether that be religious or just a regular fast that anybody can do, and it can also be from a perspective of um, just holding yourself back from the things that you're attached to, right? Let's say you spend a lot of time on phone or you spend a lot of time on the screen. Sometimes have the days where you do most of the things outside of your home. Do things in the nature. Do the outdoor workouts. Do outdoor um, activities. So detach yourself from the things that you regularly do and you're used to and experience new things, which then brings on the challenge. And that challenge makes you stronger mentally, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. Like in so many ways, it challenges you, and the challenge can only make you stronger. And it's just a good practice for anybody to do.
So you encourage people to really extrapolate the idea of a fast to the whole frame of their lives in different aspects of their lives, purely out of the frame of a challenge
Yep, yep. And
and the benefits you can get from the challenge.
yeah, exactly. You get so many benefits. And the reason why I said food is because food is an essential component for us humans to live and function. And when you can get your body to function without the proper nutrients that you've developed yourself to thinking you need, then you understand the capacity of what your body and your mind is capable of doing without you necessarily taking in those um I would say nutrients that you think you needed to live. Like people have even like such unhealthy thinking of, oh, like, dude, if I don't eat meat or if I don't eat protein, that's it. Like my gains are done. Like it's really not like that. You're just coping, and you're just, I guess one of the things is like looking easy way out to not doing something or not challenge yourself. But you know, people have to try, people have to go out of their comfort zone, and you're going to be surprised on how many things you're able to do, whether you are on uh vegan fast, vegetarian, or carnivore, or just straight up meat diet. Like it's crazy.
I've got this question, Sadula, that a lot of young men are asking themselves, even young women, is how do you stay motivated when the results aren't showing?
That's a very good question. I would say motivation is something that doesn't really last a long time, because there will be days where you don't feel motivated. There are some days that you don't feel like doing the things that you regularly do, maybe. Um, and I think discipline is would be the good substitute word for motivation, because motivation only lasts so much. Motivation only comes from the instant desire for something. So let's say, since we're talking about the topic of fitness, if you want to be healthy, look better, and feel stronger, you're going to have the motivation, whether you watch the inspirational videos or motivational videos on YouTube, to wanting to go after it. Or you're going to scroll on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and see all those people that look jacked. You're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go tomorrow to the gym, or I'm going to get up right now and go to the gym. And you will have that motivation, and you will get a good lift that day. But then the second day comes, the third, the fourth, where you don't feel like going. What are you going to do then? That means you have to have a bigger mission, bigger purpose outside of that motivation to go after it. You have to develop the discipline, you have to develop the understanding of the importance of what you're doing before you start doing it. I think if if the goal is to work out to impress somebody, and sometimes like weeks go by, months go by, and you don't really see the support coming from people, or you don't see that anybody's really impressed with your performance, that's gonna bring you down. You're not gonna have any reason to go after it. But if your reason is purely for health benefits, to be strong, to you know self improve and get better every day, I will promise you that you will have a stronger and a better reason to get up every single time to go and work out, even if you don't feel motivated, because you have the discipline, you have that drive of purpose bigger than your desires or other people's desires, that will then get you to work
No,
out.
you're completely right. I think motivation is extremely important. It's very important. Um, Especially while it's there, make sure you use it as much as you can.
Yeah,
But as you said, it's fleeing. It's finite. So you better make sure that that discipline and your mission is powerful enough to drive the engine forward, because motivation is a spark, right? It's going to get you going. And if it's there, great, use it. But when it's not there on those early winter mornings where you gotta get out of bed and do the hard work, you better bloody make sure that discipline and that mission is there to back you up, otherwise you're not moving forward, lad.
yeah. And through the discipline you develop, and the mission and the purpose, you develop the love towards what you're doing. I don't work out because it's something that I feel like doing every day. I mean, obviously that's something that I developed because I've been doing it for a long time. But for those people that don't have that love towards something yet, having that mission, having that purpose, that drive, that discipline, you will eventually fall in love with the process of doing it, because you will see the amount of benefits that you get from it. And not just your own, but something outside of yourself too. how are you able to go every day and inspire one person, challenge yourself so you get stronger, so then you can go and help somebody else, go and help somebody in your family. Like, these are the things that when you do, face, you gain so much clarity on why you should do the things that you're doing, why you should keep going with the things that you're doing. Because, challenges are hard, but you only get stronger through the challenges. So nothing becomes easy, nothing gets easier, you just get stronger. So through the challenges that you challenge every day, you have to remember that you're just getting stronger, and you have that power to then go and change lives and go and make this world a better place. So you don't have to hold yourself back from any type of challenges or any type of um, obstacles that are in front of you, because those obstacles are the only reason why you are where you are and why you're getting strong in the first place. Because if there was no obstacle, there was no challenge, then we would not have anything to solve. This life's a puzzle. Like, your life's a puzzle. You have to get the pieces, you have to get the tools to don't then solve your problems. And then if you have enough resources, good resources, you can go and share that with somebody else and then make their life better. So it's an amazing thing to think about.
I love that perspective you just said. You don't. It doesn't get
Thank you.
easier. You get stronger.
Yeah,
I love
right?
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to quickly dive back into the gym for a second because
Yeah.
recovery is a very, very important aspect of working out. What are some of the recovery methods you use in your everyday life?
Obviously, recovery is very important, as you said, when it comes to fitness or anything in general, because if you're not rested and if you're not ready for the next challenge, whether that be mentally, physically, spiritually, then it's just going to be very hard on you. And the chances are you won't be able to do it the best way you possibly can, at least to your best abilities. So I would say sleep is the number one thing that you need, whether you are in fitness, whether you're in business, or anything in general. You know, sleep is your time to rest, your time to recover, your time to recharge. So you have to pay attention to how much you sleep. I would say 7 to 8 hours is good. If you don't, if you're not able to sleep 7 to 8 hours every day, then maybe do like 6 hours every now and then, but still try to not to do 6 hours of sleep every day. Maybe once or twice a week is fine, even three, but don't push it more than that, because depending on what you do throughout the day, you will need that energy to be on your best performance. A lot of the times people like to, you know, um, sacrifice their sleep because they're being more productive. They're being, they're going forward. They're going faster than anybody else, but in reality, I would say it's a delusion. You're really not, because then you're creating more problems for your mental health, for your physical, and as well as your emotional. Your body's not, you're not a robot. You're a human being. You need rest, because the amount of things that you do in a day and the amount of things you think about, especially as an adult where you have already you're on self-improvement, especially, or you work out or you got things to look after and chase things in life, you have a lot on your mind. So it's very important that every day you wake up recharged, energized, and ready to go, because if you want the best results, you have to be in the best shape possible, right? So um sleeping is just very, very essential when it comes to anything you do in life. It's one of the key things that you should never compromise for anything, in my opinion, right? Everything is a sacrifice. When you sacrifice sleep or um, you know the time to rest, you will then gain other things in life. But the only question you have to ask yourself is, was it worth it? Because it can destroy your what's it called, health. So it's just one of the answers that I would give somebody.
How much do you sleep? Are you like a big sleeper, or do you run on
Eight,
6 hours a day?
seven, not not really. 7, 8 hours, 7, 8 hours. I try to sleep because, um, like I said, I think it's 8 hours is really essential. Um, Time to rest, and um, it's average. Anything lower than that, for me personally, because I'm not really used to it either. I don't really feel energized. I don't feel like I'm giving my best, because if throughout my day I'm like falling asleep and I'm not even mentally there, I'm not present. I would rather sleep those 2 extra hours than not be able to give my all when I'm doing certain work. So I'd rather sacrifice that.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a huge sleeper, and I used to see it as a
Yeah,
curse, honestly, because I'd see all these entrepreneurs, waking up at like 6 a.m. and then going to bed at like midnight, and they get 6 hours of sleep, and I tried to calibrate my body to that. No, I almost died. That's like impossible. I need literally like 9 hours of sleep a day. Under that, it's very hard for me to function.
yeah,
I can, but then it just catches back on the weekend. I'll just sleep in until like 3, 4, like have like 15-hour nights because I'd sleep like under 9 hours. So sleep is very important, and I think that's the one thing I wouldn't and can't sacrifice anymore. I used to a lot, especially like for assignments for uni or deadlines for some projects.
right, yeah.
It's not worth it, honestly. The backlash of being tired the next few days or weeks, because
It comes back to you.
lack of sleep compounds. We call it sleep debt.
Yeah,
It compounds. Yeah, exactly. So honestly, if there's one thing you shouldn't sacrifice in your life, I would say it'd be sleep.
yeah.
Make your day as productive as you need it to be, but please don't sacrifice sleep. And if you don't need much sleep, great. If you only need like 6, 7 hours to function, like properly
Right.
function, you've got 3 more hours in a day than me, and God bless you for that. And I'm happy for you. But if you're a big
Exactly.
sleeper, don't hate yourself for it. Sleep. You
Yeah,
you'll be very happy with it. Okay, so
right.
sleep, as you said, very important. What other recovery methods do you use? Like sauna, cold exposure, massage, eating certain foods?
Um, so sauna is something that I haven't, I'll be honest, haven't done in a couple weeks now, but I would do it every single day after a lifting session. So my gym is open until 9:30.
How long?
So I would um like 10, 15 minutes, which is I think enough if you do it every day. You can push it to like maybe 3 sessions of 10 minutes, which would be 30 minutes. Sauna on a rest day, which is something that Mike has been doing on his rest days. He goes for a little walk, either in the gym or outdoor, and then goes to the sauna for the recovery day. And it's essential. I remember I was doing that at some point on every single of my rest days, but that's because on Sundays I had a different schedule than what I have now. Now I'm going to church early in the morning, and then the by the time I come back and stuff, like sometimes it can even be like too late to drive by the gym, and like especially on an empty stomach to go to sauna and stuff. But I feel like it's an essential thing to also try to I would say find the time for. Yeah, so many health benefits, man. Like heart, for your heart health, for your mental health, for your sleep, for the recovery. It literally takes out the toxins from your body. Like when you sweat, that's essentially what sweat does. It takes out the toxins, the bad, burns the bad fats and stuff. So sauna is amazing. Cold showers are very good. Believe it or not, like recovery, I would say it's you feel refreshed when you come back from a workout, or when you wake up in the morning, just take a quick cold shower, and you will feel energized. You will feel like you're ready to go. You're wide awake. Even if you wake up at 6 and you're like kind of sleepy, just turn that cold shower on, and I'm telling you, you'll be awake in a snap of a finger. So, um, it's a very healthy dopamine too. A lot of people have said that, and I've experienced that. you're not gonna need dopamine at all during the day, dude. It's crazy. Like when you take a cold shower or you expose yourself in that heat, like the sauna, like that's your dopamine right there. And during the day, you're not really tempted by any other
Do you want some
dopamine.
crazy stats about the sauna? For people that go 2 to 3 times a week to the sauna for 10 to 15 minutes, they reduce their risk of a cardiovascular event by 27%. And those that go
Dude, yo,
5 to 7 times a week, it drops by even 50%.
dude, yeah, that's some crazy stats. I'm glad you.
And this is and we're talking Stanford's level
Oh
studies
wow,
conducted by, I think, I'm not sure if it's conducted by Dr. Huberman, but at least
for sure. I think he
I've
did
learned it
some.
through Dr. Huberman.
Yeah,
Um,
dude,
so yeah,
that's crazy.
do you actually couple sauna with cold showers, or you're not able to do that?
Yeah. So what I would do is after a lifting session, I would go because we have showers in the gym. So I would go take a cold shower and then go straight into the heat, whether that would be a steam room or sauna. So I would try to do gym session straight to cold shower and then sauna. On my rest days, I would stretch, do the walk, cold shower straight to sauna. So it was just it's amazing, dude. I felt good. Um I felt like I was getting a very good sleep. Like I slept like baby, even though I always do. But when you work out and you train yourself, especially during the end of the day, you go to the sauna, do like because it's a little recovery too, going to the sauna in the cold shower and then you come home, eat, brush your teeth, whatever, and go to sleep. Like it's, dude, it's amazing. You feel fresh, the next day. Highly recommend it.
It's funny how you do. It's funny how you do the shower before the sauna, because there's a big debate in this space
Oh yeah, I know
of
that.
if you should do the cold shower first or the sauna first. I'm team sauna, because I've seen that if you do not necessarily just the action of taking a cold shower, but wetting yourself before going into a sauna, it basically makes the sweating takes longer. If that makes sense. So the detoxification of your body takes longer. So on that aspect of detoxification, it is better to do the sauna first. But both are great. But again, it depends on people. I prefer going straight to the sauna dry and let my body just sweat out, and then do the what. I'll tell you what I do. So basically, which is usually in the mornings, my morning routine, which I've told Michael before, is what I do is I basically wake up, go to the bus station, go to the gym, which is on my campus, so where all my lectures and the library is anyway. I do my gym session for 60 to 90 minutes, and then I'll basically just go wait 5-10 minutes just for my body to cool down from the exercise, then go straight to the sauna for 15 minutes, then 3 rounds of cold shower. So our cold shower is basically there's like an basically you press on a button and it goes on for 25 seconds, so you can't really like adjust the time duration of it. So I'd press it 3 times.
Okay, dude, that's amazing.
So basically there's like a sense of gotta do 1, wait, 2.
Dude, that's great, bro. I was actually watching that episode when you had Mike on the second time, and I did hear about your morning routine, which was actually amazing. Like the
Yeah,
fact that you do all that there like in the morning and then all day, then after that you go to library and you have all that day to do the work and you're focused because you got most of the essential things out of the way and now you have all that time to work and then
exactly. And then what's crazy, yeah, exactly. And what's crazy is then I do the hardest tasks of the day after that sauna. So I'd go to the library and tackle the hardest stuff because that's when I'm most sharp. Because obviously, once you've done, as I said, I usually do sauna 15 minutes, then cold shower 3 times. So a minute and a half up to 2 minutes. Then sauna usually again, depending on the days, and then cold shower again. Then let myself dry out naturally, which is a very important component of taking a cold shower. You shouldn't dry up using a towel or going to a hot shower. You should sit down on the chair for like 5 minutes. That's usually how long it takes for you to dry up partially. And then I usually take a quick shower to obviously wash off because all the sweat,
yeah, of
which
course.
I've realized is that when you take a cold shower after a sauna, all the sweat sort of like stagnates because, well, obviously that's why we wash with hot water because it's easier to get rid of the bacteria and stuff. So I'd recommend people to actually shower, proper shower, like a hot shower after your cold shower, especially if you've
Okay.
done the sauna. But do leave a bit of time to dry off a bit naturally. And as I
Well,
said, yeah, once I've done that, I'm completely fresh. I started the day on the best foot possible. I go to the library, tackle the hardest thing I've got to do today. Maybe it's editing, maybe usually calls on the most difficult thing. Or if I've got an assignment, I tackle that. And then the rest of the day is basically just a kid's game. I just, I do this, I read a bit, I can go on a walk, I can see some friends. I'm really trying to socialize way more in this period of the year.
yeah.
And yeah, sorry, I went on a ramble there, but yeah, please.
Right. So yeah, I'll definitely try those things because I feel like I was doing some of those sauna sessions and stuff a little different, which I think what you're doing, like your method, is actually very helpful, and I feel like it just makes more sense how you would go to the sauna before the shower, because especially a cold one, because now your body's not in a regular temperature. It's way colder, and then going to a hot sauna, it just takes longer for you to sweat and bring out the sweat, like proper sweat, I would say, from your body. So
Yeah, because
one
your
thing that
pores
I
are
would
covered with
also
water, so for it to push the sweat
right.
out of your pores is just harder.
Exactly. And one thing that I would suggest, though, I don't know how hot your sauna is, but one of the other things that I heard is you should either wear the sauna hats. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like made out of wool. Or just kind of like wet your hair, because, going in the heat with dry hair, um, it isn't really the best for your hair. Obviously, if you do it every once in a while or just for 10 minutes, might not be a big deal. But if you're doing it every day, and it's like a daily thing, I would suggest to not go with dry hair because of all the heat and stuff. Might not be good for your head in general. So just wetting your head at least, so the heat doesn't get inside of your head, like your brain, because the
That's
layer of
interesting.
our skull is
I'll
just
look
so
into
thin
that.
to our brain. So yeah, and yeah, I'll have to
Yeah,
definitely go
completely.
back to doing more saunas, because the stats you just told me is actually insane. And other than what we see, which is
It's
the
honestly
long term
crazy.
effect of the reducing of the cardiovascular, it's essential. I think everybody should actually do sauna. And one of my biggest goals is to
Mm.
do a have a sauna at my house and a cold plunge or something. You know what I mean? It'd be amazing.
I think that's every man's dream. Just have like a
Yeah,
cold
right.
sauna
I
in the
hope so.
backyard. I think that's and a cold plunge.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
Honestly, yeah, I've made a whole episode back in late November or beginning of December last year, with my co-hosts. We dive into
Yeah.
all the stats. We dive into all the benefits, like scientifically based. So for those listening, you can check that out. I guess I'll link it down below. Making some self promo.
Yeah, I will definitely check
But
that out.
yes, honestly, sauna's great. Cold shower's great, especially for recovery. What other methods do you use to recover?
Oh, for sure, for
Do you have
sure.
any others or?
Oh, okay. So I think another good recovery method would be, especially if your day's busy during the week and you have a lot going on. I'll be honest, personally, me, I have a lot to go in, like a lot going on for the most part during the weeks. And weekends are the days where I try to give myself a little bit more time towards me, my family, and my friends, which I don't really get to spend a lot during the week because I'm mostly just working, working, working type of thing. And especially being an entrepreneur, you really have to devote like that time to improving yourself and improving your brand and just thinking a bunch of ways on how you can. Because in an entrepreneurial journey, it's just really you doing most of the things. Like, yeah, there are people helping you out, which I'm super grateful for, my friends and my podcast boys. Like, those are the guys that I'm closest with. So, shout out to them. But other than that, you're mostly just doing things on your own type of thing. So it's very essential that you take some time off from social media, especially when it comes to being a person who's a content creator. It's very important, I think, to kind of detach yourself from screen and just go out in the nature, walk, hang out with your friends, outdoors, even better. and just really spend time with people. Because at the end of the day, one thing that if it comes to regretting somebody, it would have to be not spending enough time with people around you, because life's short. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. God forbid something happens. One your friend's here today and it's not there tomorrow. It's like you would not want to say, I could have spent more time with them, because those are the times you can never take away. People are the most special things on this earth. So you know, devoting that time to you know, your brand or money or that type of thing isn't always the best when it comes to comparison with your friends and family. I would say you have to find that sweet balance between work and rest, because and not just rest like straight up doing nothing, but I mean, because I personally am that type of person. I can't just simply lay down and do nothing. I would either do work or I would really spend quality time with people. I think quality time with people is the best way to recover mentally, spiritually, and physically for me. And it has been working really well, because I would have times where I don't know if I told you, but sometimes I would even work out all 7 days a week, which is not which was not the best, because one, I would be super tired. I would get no gains. I would have like I would hit plateau. It wasn't good. But I learned my lesson, right?
It's just completely stupid.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I was like, you know, I can do it.
I
I
think
can
we all
handle
go
it.
through that. You're just highly motivated. You want to try it out, and then
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you find out, but you learn a lot from it. So um to go back to the point of like my experience, I've had times where I didn't really spend quality time with family, friends, or just in nature or outside of the work that I was doing, something outside of it. And I found that every time I do that and every time I engage in a meaningful time with people, the more productive I am during the week. Because it's like, imagine taking all that work that you've like put on yourself that week, and now like on those weekends, that's the time where you just kind of refresh yourself, take it off that extra weight, and then next week you're clear minded, locked in on the goal. Because if you're thinking about your problems, your issues, your work 24/7 every single day, all you're thinking is the work, 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 and you're not really thinking about outside of yourself. So it's very important that you also devote your time and energy to others, especially your close friends and family, of course. So quality time with family and friends, 100%.
I love it.
Would you say that's something
For
that you agree with?
someone, yeah, completely. I'm the biggest, I'd say,
Advocate for,
pusher when it comes
yeah,
to relate, like, yeah, advocate. Thank you. I was looking for the word. I'm
yeah,
the biggest advocate when it comes to, as I said, socializing, relationships, etc. I'm somewhat of a very emotional man, not in the sense that emotionally like I cry or I get very angry pretty quickly, but in the sense that I get very attached to people, and um not in the sense that I've got, text them all the time.
right,
I've got
right.
my best friends back in Belgium. We basically don't talk that much anymore, but I know that when I go back, this friendship is going to be stronger than ever. I'm
That's
big
amazing.
proponent of finding the right people, the right environments. Say love you to your close ones whenever you can, to your mom, to your dad,
Yeah,
your step parents if you have any, your brothers and
exactly.
sisters, your brothers or your friends, and just be kind. Just be kind. I'm a big advocate for being kind to just random people in the day.
Yeah,
You look great. I love your smile.
thank you.
Your jacket is awesome. It's just
Thanks,
little
man.
things like, why not do
Yeah,
it, right? Because it's gonna make their day. If it doesn't make their day, it's gonna make it that much better.
right.
So why not do it,
Exactly.
right? And I'm not saying lying. Don't lie, but just if you think it, say it.
Exactly.
Throw it out to the world.
Right.
What's the worst thing that could happen?
If anything, good.
They just
Because it's
look at you with
positivity.
disgust. Okay, well, they're clearly weird.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Be positive. I think I'm the most positive guy you can find. Honestly, I'm always happy. I'm always jamming, listening to my music. You can't see me with a depressed face.
I love that, man.
Not.
I can
Oh,
see that.
we all have our downs,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
But you gotta keep the upside.
Yeah. No, I definitely
Well,
see.
I'm glad it radiates
Yeah,
through the
yeah, yeah,
stream.
yeah. That's amazing, and I definitely do see that side of you because when you did say like that emotional aspect of it, like I think it's a good thing than anything bad because I'm that type of person too. I value quality time with people more than anything. I would not trade, speaking with a friend or somebody, like let's say you having a conversation with you and getting to know you, even if it means like across the screen, than me saying, "Oh no, bro, like nah, I gotta do my work and I don't have time for you," and that type of thing. Like I feel like there's always time to the work, but getting to know somebody personally and having a conversation with them, that's never something that you should regret ever. Because, the amount of opportunities that are in people are never in the objective things or the object itself, like whether that be money or whether that be your work in terms of social media or whatever it may be, or entrepreneurship like a business. Like yeah, those are all good things, but it never tops an actual human being on this planet for me. So I'm glad you did share that.
The biggest lesson I learned this year, I believe, is seeing that I didn't have the time is complete bullshit.
Oh yeah, dude,
Complete
that's one of
bullshit.
the things that I learned too.
You do have the time,
You just don't make time.
honestly. And I've realized that sometimes, and it all really started to clicking in my mind when I was with my uncle back in 2021, and I was this all very, 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 very thin kid, and he was in this period where he was really going to the gym, and he was massive, and we've got the same genetics. I mean, it's the same family, so clearly I can get there. And I told him that I wanted to start going into the gym, and he saw me after 6 months, and obviously no progression. He was like, "You didn't start the gym? Did you start?" I was like, "Oh
Right.
no, I don't have the time." And he looked at
Oh
me. He
yeah.
was like, "You don't have the time for 10 push-ups?"
Yeah, right.
I was like, "Yeah, I do. Like I do." And especially this year, like, no, I don't have the time. You find the time for those that you really love. You find the time, even if you gotta do work or something. You can always find time. So
For
when
sure.
people tell you, "Nah, I don't have the time," either they're bullshitting, which is most of the cases, or they actually really have to do something important. And in that
Yeah.
case, well, respect their time. But most of the time,
Yeah.
they can find the time, and if they don't find it for you, then just
They just
it
don't
tells you a lot about
prioritize.
that
Yeah,
person.
yeah, for sure. I think
I love
that's
it.
yeah, that's definitely one of the biggest things that I would also say that I learned this year, especially I would say last couple months, because I've been hearing it a lot, I've been seeing a lot, I've been thinking about it more, and that's why now when I speak to somebody, I try not to say I don't have time, even though that's sometimes uh, a thing that slips out of my mouth, but I try to mostly say that I just don't find the time for it because I think it's more honest, it's more true. Because if somebody says, "Oh, well, like how come you don't do this?" It's like I don't really, as of right now, devote much of my time to. Not that I don't have time, because we all have 24 hours, and you can make that 24 hours however you want. So you can go and do whatever, whatever kind of like whatever you want during those 24 hours because you're the one that chooses what to do in that 24 hours. You're yourself, you're free, you have the free will to do that. The only thing is, do you choose to do it or not? And if people can only understand and really realize and be honest with themselves with that concept, that it's not that you don't have time, it's the fact that you don't make time. It will help them to understand so many things from a different perspective. So, yeah, it's amazing.
And most people don't even realize it. Like it's so you shouldn't really if they say I don't have the time, it's most of the time unconscious. But if they do
Yeah.
make the conscious decision of saying they don't have the time and they can find it, then they're just not good people, I guess. Sadula, what's the number one thing you would tell someone that's starting the gym or starting his fitness journey? So it's something you'd wish you told your younger self when you started. If it had to be one thing.
Ooh, Steve. That's Steve. I would obviously there's so many things, but if I had to really narrow it down to one and tie almost everything that we've talked in this episode is really put your head down, be consistent, and just keep on striving to be 1% better. You don't want 10%, you don't want 20%, just 1% at least 1%. Because sometimes people will set their standards too high and they get disappointed. Sometimes people quit too early, which is the lack of consistency. And the other times people care too much about what others have to say, what others think, and that's never a way to go because the chances of somebody, especially a stranger, right? Because mostly we care about, well, I guess it depends with everybody, but yeah, we do care mostly for what our close people would say. But sometimes there are situations where what are the strangers are going to think? Like that person might see you today, but you will never come across that person ever again. So why worry about what they have to say? And you know, it's the crazy thing, especially in the gym. Sometimes we focus on the people that are in the gym that are minding their own business and have really nothing to do with us, right? Like they're not in your business, they're doing their own thing. So are you. Because you think that somebody else is paying so much attention to you, is it will only make you I guess what's the word? Oh damn. So that word insecure, yeah, it will only make you insecure about yourself and your progress, and you will kill that progress because of yourself, not anybody else. Because that person, watching you or not, might not be thinking anything negative, but you might think and tell yourself that that person is thinking or saying the things that they might not really be saying. Like these are just coming. These are self-inflicted illness type of thing. So you don't ever think about what somebody has to say about you. Just know one thing that through consistency and through the mindset of just putting your head down and keep going for the right reasons of health benefits and for your own betterment of self improvement, you will get the results, whether that be in a year, 2 or 3. And this isn't a short road. One thing I would tell somebody is it's a marathon more than anything. It really is. So really, really stay
It's
consistent
not a sprint,
and
it's a marathon.
pay attention to. Yeah, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Yes, just pay attention to your progress and oh, dude, this is a big one. Like that I would tie into not thinking, like not really paying a lot of attention to what other people have to say about your progress is you see, people will make fun of you when you're not at your best, and then they will praise you when you're at your best. So the people that bring you down, they see some kind of potential in you. People that bring you down are the only people that don't really have anything really going on for themselves and are not positive people overall. Like, no positive person, no confident person will ever make fun of somebody who is getting started on things. Never, ever. If anything, they will appreciate that person that is at level zero than somebody who is at their level because they understand what it takes to step into that gym, what it takes to have the guts to step in there and understand that there's something that needs to be worked on and you're going after that goal. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, you said it best. Deep down, nobody is thinking about you. They're too busy thinking of themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. That is really like one of the number one things about it.
What's one last thing you'd like to say to the world, Sadula?
Oh man. Um I think me and you should definitely have a conversation about faith in God for sure in the future. And you know, me sharing my own faith
Yeah,
in how I
absolutely.
grew in a relationship with the Lord. But there's just so many things that are missing in the world right now, and you know, it hasn't been too long where I've been like learning like so much about um God and just really having that like I mean it seriously like personal relationship with the Lord and this is something that I've been going on the journey even with Mike and my brother too and my other friends who I've met at the church and those close people that we had some of them even on the podcast, like Cole and Christian too, like Jaden, like all those guys, and I learned so much from them too. But like really, some people look at, like I would say, like they focus on the wrong things that will solve their problem. Like people think money's going to solve their problem. People think fame is going to solve their problem. People think like the presidential election is going to solve the world's problems. And like really, the number one thing that I would tell them is that relationship with God is what solves the problem. Because you know, people have taken out love, what God is representing, and now that's why you see negativity. That's why you see people focusing on the materialistic things, and trying to look at each other as if they're nothing because they don't have such things. It's like there's so much things to a person more than money or status or fame. Like th- anybody that you see in the world, whether that be a homeless person or somebody that with no status, that person, everybody will be able to teach you something that you never knew or would never think of otherwise, if not them. And that's the potential that lies within every single person. And God gave us that potential. God gave us that purpose, that mission to be like we're not accidents in this world. What I'm trying to say, like we all have a purpose. We all have that destiny. We were all made in the image of God for a reason, to glorify him, and through his image to then spread the love in the world and bring people closer to the Lord, and especially closer to love itself. And we just need to stay together, love each other, tell each other the truth. Whether that hurts somebody's feelings or not, we need to stand up for what's true, because truth is what sets us free. Truth is what will, at the end of the day, prevail, like the light. So truth brings light. We need to be more honest with each other. We need to be more truthful. We need to be more loving. We need to be more positive in the world, because what we put in the world is what we get back. So not just us, but when we give good, the world becomes good. So, that would be my overall message to the world, and stay healthy, focus on the things that are long term, not short term, because your fame, your money that you get from social media will isn't something that you're going to keep all the time. Because when you're going to be in your 60s, 70s, nobody's going to think about your aesthetics really. Nobody's going to want to watch you with your old body or whatever. And it's just temporary. So, but your health, something that you get from working out and being active, is something that you will keep for most of your years until you're alive. So, that would be my number one message.
Amazing. Sadula, welcome. Welcome. Thank
Thank
you
you,
for
Jared.
coming on, man.
Thank you so
By the
much.
way,
You're
for
the
those
man.
that are very confused by us, mentioning like Michael or Josh, Sadula is part of the Broasting Big podcast. So he's on the podcast with Michael Fricker, Joshua Nikolarski, who are two previous guests, and Michael being one of the later
Yep.
ones that came on again. And obviously Sadula is part of the gang. So I'm very happy to have you three come on the
Right.
podcast. And I had a great
Yeah.
conversation with you today, Sadula.
Yeah. And then
It was great to get
Alex,
to know you,
Alex
man.
Nikolavsky, and Georgie, my brother. Um, and hopefully you can have them on in the future too. And if not that, we will love to have you on the podcast, like I said again, in the future. So thank you for inviting me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about the things that I otherwise would probably not have the opportunity to. I really wish the best for you, man. We can definitely run up another episode for sure in the future. Stay in touch, and I really appreciate everything you do, man. Can I also shout out my Instagram and stuff, where I post most of my fitness
Yeah,
content,
absolutely.
my diet, and
It'll
everything?
be linked. Everything will
Yeah,
be
exactly.
linked down below, but please.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so follow me on there, DM me if you need help, guys, whatever you need to talk about. Check out my personal YouTube too. If you type Sadula underscore Natelauri, you will see my YouTube channel come up. That's a Christian content based YouTube. I talk about not just Christian stuff, but self improvement and fitness, and tie it all back to Christianity, which is still possible. So I'm just really experimenting things, really trying to grow in understanding. So I would love the feedback from all of you guys, and if we can teach each other things, it's amazing. So, the bigger and the closer the community grows, the better it is for all of us. So, thank you again for the opportunity, Jared, and looking forward to meeting you again, man.
Thanks, man. It was a blessing. Stay safe.
Of course. You too.